Let's dive into the world of tabletop gaming and painting with the Tippy cast. From rolling dice to mastering brushstrokes, we're here to fuel your passion. Join us for insights, inspiration, and endless creativity. I'm Chris.
And I'm Daz. So, Chris, what's on the table?
Well, Daz, at the moment I have 3 models left to paint until I've got a right session of varnishing and undercoating ahead of us. I've got the King of Hearts, Captain Louis, and Captain Thatch to paint. So I've been steadily making my way through a bunch of Rumble Slam models that I've had sat waiting for a while, just staring at us when I've been painting other stuff. The last few days though have involved building and cleaning a lot of half tilt models and the Rumble Slam event exclusives, and I've still got a bunch of MDF scenery for half tilt to sort out, because some of it I'm not really going to need, like the tilt itself. I've got like some stands which I don't have a major need for because I've already got some from the Joust and Yard kit, the Royal Box, and 2 of the round tents. Like I've got them already, so there's some of that. There's not a big rush for. Just things like the castle dice tower, and 2 of the tents that I need to get sorted, really.
Nice.
And what about you?
Well, I'm also. I've got some half tilt stuff also on the table. I've got the craggy bottom goats, and I've also got the Scribbit and Merthyr figure. They're all sort of already assembled, primed, base colours on. The majority of the half tilt core box that's been left up to Dad to do. He just has a lot more time to do it than I do, and he's also been doing the scenery for that. I mean, unlike yourself, I already didn't have all the tilt yard stuff, so we got that's being assembled again. The dice tower, the tilt yard, the bleachers, and we've also got Other than that, I've got more colours on my Legrazia security, I believe is what they're called. You know, the one with the power suit.
Yes, the
And
new Doctors team.
yeah, and I also have, well, that they're assembled. And also I have just pretty much just about finished my mutant martial artists. Annoyingly, one of them had broke because I was dry brushing, and it obviously I was dry brushing heavy enough that it sort of broke an arm off, and I was a little bit annoyed with that. So I've got to reassemble that. So that's
Nightmares.
it is. I'm not used to working with metal anymore. But yeah, other than that, not really got a great deal on. It's been busy, honestly.
Just life getting in the way.
Very much so.
Well, I got to do a bit of shooting yesterday. Went out doing a bit of deer stalking. Didn't bag myself a buck, but getting to use take the deer stalk as thermal goggles when he was looking around trying to find like something out in the distance for me, and got to see the heat signature of a doe and one of the little one of the little deers, one of the babies. Still, they're not in season, so like they were just there for us to look at. And because if the mother had died, the little ones wouldn't survive. So they're not in season until later in the year. But that's it, like out in the wastes of Northumberland, and just, I mean, the scenery looked beautiful. I've got a couple of photos.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
did
sure
really quite breathtaking, to be honest.
I can't remember if I sent you the scenery picture.
Yeah, I got
But
those.
you got that sound. Because I know I sent you a few photos. I can't remember which ones. But now it was nice being out in the fresh air in Northumberland, and it's something a bit different. I've wanted to do shooting for a while, and yeah, it just took us away from the painting desk, which is always nice to give my legs a good stretch.
Oh, definitely.
So it's okay, good for the blood flow. But and it's like, you know, just weird things like that. It gives you an idea for some making some scenery as well. Like on some of the hills we were on, there was old stone structures that had collapsed and stuff, and it was like just taking a look at like the how like the weather's affected the coloring on things. It's like I, I know some paints that could do that. So it's nice to bring in my my primary hobby into it as well.
Always a good thing as well. I mean, I do the same thing. Sometimes I'll walk about and I'll see things and I go, "Oh, that's a good idea," and then I'll do it. But yeah, it is weird how some things can just overlap.
Mm.
But yeah,
But, so one of the things that's overlapped for us is going to be the main topic of this episode, which is half tilt.
half tilt.
So we both backed the game. I went all in on the King pledge, like I've said. So with that, I got all of the teams, all of the the character models. I picked up a couple of extra crowd models that I thought would go really well for Rumble Slam. I'm wishing I picked up a couple of the other ones as well, because actually getting a look at the proper model, it's like, yeah, I could do a fair bit with them as well. It's like the drunk dwarf crowd member.
Yes.
He'd be great to have in there. The guy just having like with like a t-shirt with Tavern on it or something. But
I mean, I really enjoyed. One of my favorite crowd models that they did was the fella with four arms with all the foam fingers. That was quite a personal favorite of mine.
yes, so the initial concept sketch of him, I wasn't too blown away by, but actually looking at the model itself, it's like, this is a really nice model. I don't know if I'd want multiple of them, because he is
It's very big.
very like, yeah, he's like, you'd see multiple of them in a crowd quite easy. I like
Yeah.
kind of like the cheerleaders. I'll probably have them on the stage and have them painted as different elves. So I have like a dark elf, wood elf, and just like your standard elf as well, like high elf or something.
Yeah, I mean those ones aren't really. I'd say they don't stick out enough. You know where it would. You know where you know. But if you've got a big old boy with four arms and like a foam finger and all of them, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't really get away with more than one of them.
Same with like the Minotaur as well.
Yeah. Again, I mean the food guys as well. You know, like they could multiples of those easy.
Yeah. I'm wishing I picked the second one of him up.
Yeah.
Have him one on each side of the Rumble Slam arena.
I'm sure that at some point when it comes to retail, they'll probably bring out more.
Yeah, I'd imagine that they'll probably like find a way into like the Rumble Slam section or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's like it fits in multiple things. And like I've got a bunch of like food things that I've been making out of spare green stuff. That if I got another one, let's say if I picked up two more, take one of them, take the Dremel to the food stuff that's in the tray, and put some of these other ones in. So there's like other hot dogs. I've got like pasties and stuff like that in there. It'd be quite fun to throw some of them in, because it's from Cornwall. I've got to have some Cornish pasties there.
Yeah,
so it's basically the law. But we're half tilt.
I mean,
before I get sidetracked and just talk about Rumble Slam all night.
Yeah, I mean, I went. What did I go? You went King, didn't you? And I think I went Lord, which is the one just underneath it. And what that was is I got two teams, the base game, all of the relevant stretch goals, like for the crowd models. I also got the castle dice tower, and the tilt yard accessories, which was already available.
You get the ground, like pretty much you got what's in the box. Then there was the extra thing with the royal, like the royal
And
box.
there are two smaller
But
tents.
that royal box is different to the one that's in the currently available jousting yard. It's slightly smaller, and then yeah, you've got the two like round floor plan tents in there as well, and then the tower.
So the two teams we got with that
So,
were the Craggy Bottom Goats, which I'm doing, and Dad wanted to get the Sneaky Stabbers, which is the Goblin Wolf Riders.
yeah.
And what's great about it is, each of the teams comes with their own sort of ploy cards that are quite specific to them, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. And also, they're different enough um, that warrants warrants the different miniatures and things like that. There is difference in it, and obviously once you start
Yeah,
getting into the
you've got
game,
ones that'll play very different. So um, the goats. They seem quite a nimble lot. Whereas the ones that are on the walruses, they're a lot slower to
yeah,
move, but they hit harder. So if you don't do a lot of damage on that first impact, you're probably not going to get a second one because the other one will come around behind you.
yeah. I mean, all of the people in that the Craggy Bottom Goats, they can all re-roll their initiative, which is speed
Mm-hmm.
essentially. But yeah,
It
they can
gives
all
you your
re-roll it.
advantage on things.
Yeah, they can all re-roll it, and I think, and basically three of them have got a +1 initiative anyway. So again, it's more about speed over anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but also what I love about it as well is that they came with their own approach card, which was also really nice. Which I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because this one was maintain speed, so don't lose momentum. If even if you if you're taking damage, you just keep going, which again
Mm-hmm.
is very nice, and I like that. And obviously the Sneaky Stabbers one kit that we've got as well is different again, and it's all very and their sort of style of play is very reminiscent of Greenskins, so we'll continue with that. But what are you sort of planning doing with your sort of stuff, Chris? I know you've already done a video about the bases, and you're doing them
Mm-hmm.
very faction specific bases. Any sort of more over that?
Well, the other day I did publish an unboxing.
I did see that.
So if you missed the Kickstarter or you haven't received it yet, and you really want to see what's in there, I go into the box. I don't go very spoilery with like rules and things like
Mm.
that, because I'm going to keep the rules for when we do our playthrough, which will be a future video. Really, I want to get stuff painted up there for us to be able to really show it off. I want to do some painting tutorials for things like getting the stripes around the lances.
Yeah.
Because I mean, whenever you think of jousting, the lances have always got that really clean spiral on them.
Mm.
So I want to show how to do that. But I mean, that one does include having to have some masking tape. I'll give a little spoiler there. It's really easy technique to do. I want to do some things for like how to freehand stuff. So something like doing the checkerboard. I practiced that on the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Hearts model for Rumble Slam, which is probably a harder model to do it on because that's on her dress corset where it goes around the
Yes.
body. So there's a lot of curves in that. Whereas on a shield, it's like there's two angles basically because the shield has a little angle to it. And then like how to freehand some symbols, things like the fleur de lis and the fleur de lis, sorry, because the other one's a song.
Can't paint that, mate.
Can you paint a song? Yeah, so how to do like some freehand and symbols and things like that. That's a technique that'll help with doing tattoos on other models and stuff. So it's stuff that transfers over really nicely. And it's something I've been practicing by doing tattoos. So it definitely has applications elsewhere on stuff like other models. Yeah, and looking at models, different ways of painting stuff. So how to do black metal, because there's very little in the way of really dark metal. Like Tippy Combat has the gun metal, which is like a grey metal. But if you want to do a black knight, you're gonna want to go even darker.
Well, yeah, you want
And
to be looking in that sort of like almost like black iron.
I did some of that on Sir Human, on one of the is it the bracer, the gauntlet or something he's got on,
Yeah.
where it's just a dark metal. I think one of his boots as well. So it's like cobbled together from different pieces of armor, and that gun metal from TT Combat is the mid tone that I use for it. So what you would usually use as your base coat is ended up being knocked up a step. So it's how to do things like that, because again, it's how to do a black metal isn't really something people show you online. I know in the Citadel painting app, it's essentially painted black and then do a highlight with the silver, and I mean that doesn't give you the proper effect, I find.
No, when I tend to paint like guns, if you want to call it that, like when I paint guns, like for World War II stuff, most guns don't have that sort of like shiny dark grey shiny barrel. They don't. It's a black.
Yeah, it's like matted down,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's like
So
treated metal.
yeah, so I just tend to do black, and then I'll do like a dry brush of just gunmetal, and that kind of does what I need it to do. But that's only over like a small area. I don't know how that would sort of translate into a larger surface area, but that's just what works for me personally. But
Yeah, I think for like a suit of armor in a fantasy setting, you want to have something that's quite garish and out there. So having proper full metallics, it's I think that like it suits the setting.
oh, definitely. And it is a very funny setting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the rule book right now. There's the Black Knight with a bloody pig sitting on his head.
Good old Sir Pigismund.
And given that the chicken is running off on the back of the rule book, running off, was it Sir Cluckington or something like that?
So you got Sir Cluckington, I think it is.
So yeah, that's Sir Cluckington on the other part of the cover art. That chicken's running away, which makes me think that's a live pig on his head.
I mean, it stands to reason, to be fair.
Just using context clues here, that's a live pig on his head.
I mean, that would give you a lot of reason to sort of like, to not fall off.
I've carried pigs. They are not light creatures.
No. But then you ask yourself the question, like, halflings aren't big. How big is that pig?
Yeah, that's got to be like a little piglet.
Oh, definitely. But yeah.
Because I mean, the ones I've got at work, like at full stretch, they're probably around the same height as me. So like 6 foot, 6'1". And that's it. That's at full stretch. The pig. So yeah, like a halfling's probably he's going to be what, about 4 foot.
Oh, I'd say about that.
So yeah, that's just a little piglet. But then you've got the pig riders, the hog riders. Like they're on full size pigs.
Yeah. The scaling's all over the place. But yeah, I mean,
Well, little Shetland ponies, the halflings are cruising around on. That makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to getting the game in because I think my daughter's really looking forward to it as well because it's
Mhm.
it's not a rules heavy game.
Yeah, the rule book's what I think 12 pages, 12 pages, and one of those pages, in fact, page labeled number one, so not even the inside cover, is the credits.
Yeah,
So
and it's yeah,
less than 12 pages of rules.
and the rules really are again even as complex as you want to make them because you don't really need to use the other stuff.
Hmm.
So, because obviously, for anyone who's not sort of heard of half tilt or hasn't had a go at it at the events or has backed it, it is there's ploy cards which are like little extra little tidbits. Again, you don't even really have to use them. When I was demoing it at the expo, I didn't bother with them because it just
Hmm.
for the sake of demonstrating the core principle of the game, I felt it would have slowed it down a little bit,
Yeah.
and it kind of really only makes sense when you're kind of playing like a full game rather than just like two impacts.
Hmm.
But again, the humor
It's
in there is amazing.
like the moments of glory and stuff like
Mm,
that. Like you don't have to have them in your first couple of games. Just like any game, really. It might not say it in the rules, but any game you play, you don't have to play with every single rule.
no,
So if you don't have the basics of the game down, why bog yourself down
hundred
in
percent,
a lot of other rules?
100%.
So bringing the cards in so that your first couple of games, you might not want to use them. Just get the idea of the
Mm.
basic setting of the game down.
And just for clarification for people, with the video that me and Chris are planning on making of playing half tilt, we're only going to use what's in the core box.
Hmm.
We're not going to, it's more down to the fact is because obviously when it does come to retail and people want to learn how to play it, you know, they're not going to get like, oh well, why is this one doing this? And it's like we'd rather just use what's in the box, what's in that core box.
Hmm. No outrageous ploy cards from. I say outrageous. They're not outrageous. They're all pretty like in line with each other. But there's no cards going to be in there that aren't in
Mm.
the main box. So I'm not going to be like taking like a sneaky stab as card and putting it into my hand or whatever. It's it's everything that's in the box we'll be using.
Oh yeah, and that's the best way to be about it. And to be fair, you can have a huge amount of fun with just what's in that box, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And the models that are in it, I mean, they're just so full of character, and
Yeah.
and obviously they're very linked. The humor's there. You know,
Even the more plain sort of characters, like you've got these knights with, like you say, we've got one with a pig on his head, one with a chicken, one with a duck, and then you've got your more plain knights where he just looks like a dude on a horse. He's holding a sword, and it's like even that character has like character in his sculpt.
mm,
You've got the dude with the lute,
yeah,
like the halfling bard. That I mean that's character in itself right there.
and that's what I mean. And I mean, even
And I think there's only three horse sculpts.
you what? Sorry.
I think there's only three horse sculpts,
Yeah, the horses
and
get.
it's all down to the mount that kind of
Mm,
that like brings all that character into it. Because I mean, how much character can your mount have?
I mean, obviously the only difference is with other stuff that they brought out in the Kickstarters and other teams that are going to be coming to retail,
Mm-hmm.
the mounts do change because obviously you've got goblins and wolves, goats, walruses, camels, pigs,
Camels, yeah,
you know,
bloody
undead,
crocodile thing.
and that's it. And but the models themselves, especially the base ones, you do very much get that feel of, yes, they are very knightly people.
Hmm. Yeah, like the horses, they've got that bit of armor around the neck. They've got like the I don't know what you call it. It's like the robes or whatever it is for like the livery on it.
Tabard.
It's the tabard for the horse tabard. Uh, like they look,
They're at the business.
yeah, they're there for the sport. It's not just some dudes have jumped on horses and ran at each other across a fence. It's like it's these halflings are putting on a show.
Oh, and it is. Um, hmm, dear me. Yeah, it is a great fast paced game, and it is very much a beer and pretzels game. Don't expect there to be any sort of need for competitive play on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think it kind of has that. I could stand corrected. It might take off in a competitive sense, but I don't think it's really fitted out for it. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't know. I just don't feel it's that kind of game, honestly.
You mean you mean I'm not going to be able to go to UKGE next year and win a golden lance?
I mean, look, if there's enough people playing it and they feel that there could be a need for, a competitiveness for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason I say that there isn't is
It doesn't feel like there's a. It's like it doesn't feel like it's a massive competitive game. There's obviously there's a sense of competitiveness with it,
mm,
but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like number crunching to create the best team, like something like your Rumble Slam, where you can put together
mm,
some absolute wrecking crews because they're all working together. With this one, it's one horse versus one
yeah,
horse.
and that's it, and they're all very balanced. It would just come down to
Mm.
dice. There isn't
Yeah.
there isn't a great deal of tactic involved in it. It's blind luck at the end of the day. And it's because you're trying to guess what they're going to do. And at the end of the day, you've got to play your
Mm-hmm.
own game. And I don't necessarily think it would warrant a
Uh,
competitive.
it's a lot of hidden things. So, your the character that you're going to be playing, that card is hidden until the reveal phase. So you're trying to guess, looking at what models I've got available. What am I going to be bringing? What could survive it?
Exactly. And
And so it leaves a lot of mystery, and just the game does the legwork for it.
oh, definitely. But I just don't feel. I mean, I could quite happily stand corrected, but I just don't feel it's that kind of game that I don't feel it needs. It would sort of take away the sort of joy of the game if you put it into a competitive sense.
Hmm.
But again, I could be wrong. Um, I would quite look at the end of the day, mate. More people playing games, the better. You know,
Yeah,
and if people want to play that game competitively, whatever, you know, if there's a need for it,
I could see some shops doing like little events
yeah,
for half tilt, like just because it's a quick game to play. You could put an hour or two aside in your shop, take away a Warhammer 40k table, and have about like 6 games of half tilt going on
exactly,
in half the time.
yeah, exactly, and get a result.
Yeah,
Games Workshop making me do maths,
Games Workshop. I hope you listen.
making me.
Learn from this game.
I ain't doing maths, but yeah, I think I'm not going to go into obviously all of the rules. I'm not going to bore you with it, but I think the base sort of system of the game, it's all done on a D6. Multiple D6s, but it was all done on a D6. There's no
I think it's pretty much like 10 dice a person
max, yeah. 10 dice max, I think, is the biggest dice pool I've seen is, yeah.
Mm.
But
So you get 20 d6 in the box.
yes.
So 10 each.
But yeah, and it's once you sort of get literally, you can get your head around sort of how the rules work at a base level in about a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like how the game plays without bringing in ploy cards, things like that. Yeah, it is literally just it's just such a fun game to play, and I can't wait to start playing more of it. And I'm so happy that obviously my pledge has got here. I think the next after the Kickstarters have been fulfilled, pre-orders are then going to start getting fulfilled. Then it's going to go to retail. But retail and pre-orders obviously will follow each other quite closely. But it's the people who pre-ordered would have got the benefit of getting the drunk halfling jouster, which is a hilarious sculpt.
I'm going to be quite interested to see how he plays.
Oh,
because
funnily,
his card, it's like the buffs and debuffs he's got are pretty much stacked against him, it seems. So until I've got him actually like playing, he reads like a very strange character to use.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself, but it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those ones where until you actually start doing something with him, you might not make any sense. Which does remind me, I do need to get hold of TT and mention about them getting a character card for Mickey Squire.
Yes, I was wondering
because he was going to be used
if he was going to be a swap out sort of like a swap out model.
No, I was pretty I was under the impression that he was going to have his own character card,
his own card.
So I do need to get hold of them about that. If anyone's not aware of who that is, it was a Black Friday thing, wasn't it?
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday, yeah, on the TT Combat.
Because there was the alternate skull Black Lamp for Black Friday.
Yes. So the Cyber Monday was a Mickey Squire Knight Rider. I had a mechanical horse, and he was obviously, yeah, David Hasselhoff.
Cobb. I believe the horse was called Cobb.
Yeah, and it was just So I was always told under the impression that he was going to be usable in half tilt. So I do need to sort of ask about that. But yeah, otherwise, all the other miniatures that are coming, that I've seen, the only ones that for me personally, that I felt were a little lackluster, were the pig riders. I thought they were a little lackluster. Not to take. It's just I think there's not much posing you can do with a pig. I get that. That's fine. It's not about the mount, but a lot of the riders on the pig, there didn't seem to be a great deal of variation in them. That's all it was. For me, only sort of qualm I have with that is they're just a bit of. I just felt there wasn't a lot of variation in him.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I know with pigs moving, I'm going to go into real world and knowing things from work. The way the pig moves, it's essentially dragging its back half along. That's why the leg meat is a much softer meat, because it doesn't, like, that muscle isn't used as much. It's all on the shoulders and the front legs. So like, it's all in the front legs for them running at you. But there are nice details on some of them where you can see there's like battle battle scars on them and things, and like a little bit of like variation in the armor. Like some of them have got like more head armor on them and things. But yeah, the riders themselves. I mean, there's playing devil's advocate on it. You do get some of the bigger, showy sort of things. Like there's the dude with the flag.
Yeah.
He's got a big flagpole. And I think the only other characters with a flag are Fleur de Lis and the guy on the Griffin.
Yeah, I can't for life. I can't remember his name.
I think he's got a flag. So for just like one of your standard dudes having a flag, that adds something that's not in the other teams.
There is that. But
But
other
for
than that,
the rest of the team, yeah, there's not a whole lot of variation.
other than that, I mean, it's a all the teams obviously are very themed, and I do like that. And yeah, the rules that go with them, again, all very reminiscent of of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the goat riders, it's all very much, yeah, okay, they're riding a goat, you know. And you could sort of, and the rules that go with them suit that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
do you know what? That's actually one thing I've always thought TT Combat were like really good at. Is thematic ruling, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
They do it with Rumble Slam quite a lot. They do it in Carnival. They are very good at thematic rules.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we obviously don't want to sort of bang on too much about it. I mean, granted, this is a very half tilt focused episode, but I do like the fact
we've had the stuff in our hands for not even a week yet.
Yeah.
We still need to have a proper game through it. I've only read the rule book a couple of times, but like it's one of them things with me where I can read the rules as many times as you want until I've got it on the table. It's not sinking in.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same. Like when that's why I think demos are so important at these events. And you are seeing it more and more and more now, where it's like more places that like I could go back like 3-4 years, and the amount of people, like amount of stalls that didn't have demos going on, and then we're trying to shift their game, and it's kind of like, okay, but a lot of people, they realize that a lot of people are like, I kind of need to play it. I mean, granted, that's where I think
before you put money down on something, you want to know you'll be able to grasp the game, or at least be on the way to understand it when you get it.
I mean, that's obviously why YouTube's quite important as well. Like with a lot of people doing like the Let's Plays, but again, even that, it still needs to be me doing it, because sometimes you could be watching it and you could be like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what's happened there. But again, this is
like there's one thing like with the TT Combat video of Half Tilt, when it's talking about how how you're working out your scoring from your dice, that lost me all the time until I read it in the book. So it worked the other way for me. So it's like you're choosing your base dice that you've rolled.
Yeah.
Then it's any result of 3 up, then becomes an added success to that base dice. Whereas when I was watching it on the video, I could not get my head around that. I couldn't where it's got the numbers showing up on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? But you've got all those dice there. How is that?
Yeah, it's one of those things as well.
Working?
Even when I verbally explain it at the expo when I was demoing it, when I actually then started putting the dice down and showing people, they're like, yeah, okay, and then it then sinks in. But again, I've got a very short attention span for games, and I've never been afraid to admit that. Really for me, like an hour and a half, 2 hours is like really top end for me. Like anything over that, I'm gonna start getting a bit bored.
Mhm.
You know, it's why I like the small games. It's why I like the skirmish games. I mean, realistically, Drop Fleet Commander for me is like really pushing the edge of what I can do. Because there's nothing worse than playing a game and you've just got to sit there for like 15 minutes while your opponent does everything.
Yeah,
Nothing worse than that.
that's why I quite like how a lot of games are bringing in alternate activations and stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Because I remember old Necromunda, it was you move all of your team,
Yeah.
player does all their stuff, then you do all your stuff back and forwards. And I mean, there was times where I had quite a big gang. I was basically fielding an army,
Mm,
so it's like it would take a while for my turns to get through, and I'd get bored on my own turn.
exactly.
Whereas at least alternate activation stuff, it's like say with Rumble Slam, I've done something, you're reacting to that, then I'm getting a chance to react to that, and it's just it makes for much more interesting games rather than I move all my stuff, they then all get shot down because your entire team's reacting to everything
Yeah.
my team's done.
And I mean, that's another good thing about Half Tilt. It is when the initiative has been done, it is pretty
Mm-hmm.
much I'm going to do things before you because I've got the initiative, and then after that, it then just goes back, starts again, and that will take
Yeah,
all of
and
about
if the initiative's a draw, then no one gets the like the bonus of being the first person to strike,
yeah,
which I think is quite good. It's not like, oh, we roll off, someone's got to have initiative. It's if no one's got initiative, then those lancers are hitting each other at the same time.
yeah, because in the rules, lances get a bonus for getting initiative first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think all weapons get that. I think it's just lancers that get that. But
Lancer, if the knight makes a strike check while having
yeah,
initiative, reduce the opposing knight's block pool by 1. If the knight makes a block check while the opposing knight has initiative, reduce this knight's block pool by 1.
again, so yeah, it kind of thematically proves what a
And
lance
those
does.
and those traits are on one page.
Again, love that.
You're not, and it's the back page, so you're not having to root through a rule book trying to find things.
And again, you got to love that. I mean, like someone was saying to me, like, oh, that there's no quick reference sheet, and I'm like, the whole book is just a quick reference sheet. I mean, it really
Because
is. It's just like everything about how the dice work, one page. Like, oh, this is how this
yeah,
works, one page.
your keywords on the bottom of your character card, your knight card. These are referenced by various sources to apply effects and rules. So that's where like your ploy cards, your approach cards. It's around chivalrous, pony, particularly like pony, because some of the cards can only be played if you've got that animal type.
Yeah,
So like the cards that you get with the goat riders, they'll have approach, requirement, goat. So my guys on camels can't use that card.
yes, because I believe
Um,
you share the ploy card deck,
mhm.
which again is quite nice because even if you do have cards that are specific to you, you might not get them.
Yeah. So the traits, so like cowardly, lancer for Sir Cluckington. All of these traits, every trait that is on all the character cards, is in this rule book on that back page.
Yeah, I love the fact it's on one page because I say there isn't. Again, it's just it's just not rules heavy.
Mm-hmm. In anything that needs like a rule clarification for like your traits and things like that, it's on the card.
Yeah,
So Sir Cluckington, impeccable timing. After making an initiative check, Sir Cluckton may reduce their strike pool or block pool by 1 to roll 1 additional initiative dice. That's just because that rule is unique to him, the impeccable rule. So that's on his card. everything else is shared by other characters, so that goes in the rule book.
And again, the cards don't bombard you with information. I mean, granted, Carnival character cards have to do that because there's a lot of information that they need to get through because it's quite a narrative game. But they are really stripping everything back just so it's like, this isn't meant to be a very serious game. It's not meant to take you long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's great about it. But honestly, there's not really much I suppose we could, continue blabbing on about it. I think people are just going to have to wait for us to do the Let's Play video of Half Tilt, and then they can sort of really get their chops into it.
Mm-hmm. And I reckon this will be a good way for us to test out how we can do like games together to do a video, and even do some of that on video just so we can play some games, because we are friends.
Yeah.
It's not just about a podcast. What we talk about games and stuff when we're not recording, so it'd be nice to actually play some games as well.
Definitely.
And I mean, having all this technology, I mean, this game only taking up a little amount of space on the desk, it'll be good to actually see how we can do that, and then maybe do some Rumble Slam and stuff like that.
Definitely. But I think it's time that we sort of move into the new and shiny area of the cast. Anything in particular that's taking your fancy, new and shiny?
Majority of it for me is the Brawl Marillion. It's the new Rumble Slam team. As of recording this on Thursday the 27th, so tomorrow they'll be going into the shop, in the Tippy Combat store, and I'm really looking forward. And you're showing off your copy that you got at UKGE, and I'm very jealous of you. Although I noticed it's still in the cellophane.
Yeah, I haven't unwrapped it yet. To be fair,
too much stuff to paint.
I've got too much stuff to do. Yeah.
I've got my painting desk was completely covered in models because I was just putting them on the spare bases before I sprayed them. And if I didn't move some of my alien stuff, that desk would have been completely covered still. I've just got no room.
Yeah, I need to have a sort out on mine.
I don't even know where I'm going to store these half tilt models. Oh god.
I know I'm trying to figure it out myself, to be honest. I think magnets might have to be involved. But we'll see.
It's always the best way. Love a good magnet. So yeah, the Brawl Marillion, it's the new Moot Carlo halfling base. Well, not even halfling because they're not all halfling.
Only one of them is.
But, yeah. But it's more tying into the Lords of the Ring.
Yeah, it is.
The Kalaka Kabbalah.
Yes, it is following on from the Lords of the Ring joke. Mm-hmm. Really great models. And obviously it's more of a continuing tip to the hat to Tolkien. It's a great looking kit. And the models, again, just absolutely fantastic. And they really do resonate to the Tolkien nerd. Mm-hmm. I think my favourite miniature out of that box has to be the Aragorn-esque miniature that's holding the dwarf skeleton. Yeah, that's got to be my favourite one.
I think what I like most of it is that it's a dwarf skeleton, so it does kind of tie to the Kalaka Kabbalah as well. It brings the two Moot Carlo teams together through that, and I quite like that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Kalaka Kabbalah will probably get more stuff with it. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes with those sort of things, because obviously, you go back to the Kaiser's Palace at the Heavy Pounders, and they brought out Headliners, which were like another human-esque team. Then you had Runic Thunder, then you had Greased Lightning, and it was just...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always been that sort of booster team that's helped. So you get your two established
Yeah.
teams. So like with Diamond Oasis, we got the like your undead Egyptian stuff. Then we got the cats. So I know there's another Diamond Oasis team coming. They've been teasing.
That's the one with the Beatles in it.
With the Beatles, yeah. So that'll be tying in with
The
the
Pyramid Pile Drivers,
like
yeah.
the Egyptian stuff, Pyramid Pile Drivers, with Yeetle.
But no news as of yet about the other team.
Yeah, I want a cat team. Give me a cat team, TT Combat.
But yeah, it's again
More cats.
Also, they brought out a new. I know this is already kind of in the shops. Well, it won't be at the moment, but the new event exclusive stuff they brought out, we didn't really mention it. We didn't mention it in the new and shiny of the Games Expo episode. I really should have probably done it then. But going forward, to be fair, wouldn't have made much difference.
I think we
might have done.
I think we did the Hospitalia appointment.
Oh yeah, with the plague. We might not have.
Yeah.
I'll just say it anyway.
I think we did, but I mean it's event season, so they'll be hitting the web store.
Probably the next one will be Warfare. No, they might do one for when's Gen Con or Adepticon.
I think Adepticon's been.
Either way, I think there's one more event. No, Selweg. I think it's this. They've got to do Selweg. Yeah.
Gen Con is 1st of August.
So they'll probably go on sale again at Gen Con 1st of August.
1st of August to the 4th.
So you can get the new Hospitalia appointment, Doctor's Rumble Slam team, and the superstar that goes with it, the Plague. Again, great models, great character.
And gets Carnivale fans into Rumble Slam.
It does, as it does. We've already established that. We've got Dario from Monsters Behind the Masks. He's one of us now.
They gave us another shout out the other day on Facebook.
But nicely tipped into the Carnival there. The Knights of Silence, Vatican faction. Again, because they were selling limited stocks of this at the UKGE, I picked a box already. I think Dad's already nearly finished painting them before they've even gone out to general sale. Again, great kit. Really,
I'm assuming he's the leader model, the guy on the horse. That is such a nice looking model.
Do you know what? I don't know if it's actually a complete gang. I don't think he's a leader. I think he's still a hero. I am going to double check.
I think that that model itself, if that was released on its own, that's a must-have for anyone who plays the Vatican.
Oh, and yeah, it's going to get the Vatican a lot more mobile. Oh no, no, he's just a hero. So yeah, he's called the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre.
Nice.
17 ducats. Movement 6. It's on a horse. Ostriches are still quicker. Where is it? Yeah, he's got the normal full plate thing. Obviously can't climb buildings. He's on a horse.
Yeah.
But flail as a weapon. Gotta love a flail. All round, pretty good fella.
When you're on a horse and you're just
yeah,
raking that flail around you, you're gonna get some hit on that.
What other ones are in that? So you've got this Slayer Priest in that box. A Sepulchral Vanguard was one. It sounds pretty cool. What else? I think there's a couple henchmen in that box as well. Oh no, probably not. Either way, it's a fantastic. I know it's called a Redemptionist. They're pretty dope. But yeah, again, you can sort of see the progression of their sort of styling. I mean, obviously, I've also had other things teased. They've already teased one bit on Facebook, so I feel like I can tell people about this. It's a with new doctors with the diving suits.
Yes, I've seen them
Yeah.
sharing that on, I think, on Instagram.
Yeah, so they're more doctors stuff on the way. I mean, obviously, there's more stuff generally on its way, but I'm only privy to a certain amount of information. But otherwise, yeah, Carnival. Also,
We've got another big
Yep.
model, which we've talked about briefly on the UKGE episode, I think. We definitely had a photo on the links. The Strix for the Strigua.
It's a big old boy.
Yeah,
Got
really nice looking model.
It is
as well.
fantastic mini. And and sometimes when you have minis that big, it can seem quite overwhelming, or like they might put detail in where there doesn't really need to be detail just to sort of fill some space. But real hats off to the sculptors that they've obviously kept enough space to make it look like it is a believable creature without sort of overwhelming it with detail. And I think it just looks like a really fantastic mini, and I'm really keen to see how other people painted up theirs.
Yeah, it's just this big, horrible monster bat.
Oh yeah, and I think if I remember rightly, I'm going to double check the gang builder, because obviously all of this stuff is already on the gang builder now. I'm going to sort of check it out. There we go. It's called a Monstrous Strix, 40 ducats, so quite an expensive mini. Can fly, so that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another one. So basically, its character abilities are bulky, flight, frenzied, mindless, slippery, and vampiric attack 2. So that's something to be annoyed with.
So at least it can't hold objectives.
No. Yeah. What it can do, though.
I mean, you won't be able to hold the objective either because it's killed you. But
yeah, and it'll fly on top of a building and then just
dive down on you.
And again, it has a bit of hustle on it. It's got to say move a 6, 5 attack, which I personally thought was. Some people on the forums and the Discord were saying that that's a little low considering the size of it. But I think 5 attack dice is plenty considering what else it can do.
Yeah, and it's getting the vampiric 2 as well.
So I mean, his weapons itself, the monstrous claws, +2 damage, -2 penetration. So that's going to do a lot of damage. And then it's also got a ranged attack as well.
Yeah, 6-inch range, -2 evasion, blast, harmless, stun.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I mean. And it's like, it's a big model.
I'm just looking at its unique abilities here. Rip and tear. When this character makes a combat action with monstrous claws against an enemy character with full life points, for the rest of this character's activation, it may re-roll any failed dice for combat actions against that enemy character. So 5 attack dice.
Yeah.
And if you're at full health, it's re-rolling any failed dice.
Exactly.
So I mean, like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, especially if it's the first time that you're attacking your opponent with it. Yeah, those 5 dice can start to add up. And obviously it's got, because if it moves into base contact with an enemy character that's either 3 inches above or below at the start of the action, that enemy character skips their protection roll for this character's attack of opportunity. So when it does go into base,
it's ignoring your armor.
Well, it's doing that, and it's that again. So those 5 dice, although initially seem quite low, if you use the
It's
Strix,
everything that works around it that
yeah. So the Strix is
makes
very
it
much going to be
stand out.
a bushwhacker, very much like a big bushwhacker,
Mm-hmm.
running.
Yeah, a huge hit and run monster. Just it comes, attacks you, gets back up on the roof, and then does it again.
Yeah, does it again as someone else. But from my understanding, every single faction in Carnival is going to have that big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the Rashad already,
we've got the Morgra,
they have the Strix. The Doctors have that unholy union.
the human centipede.
I know that the guild, this is confirmed, and they're just sort of in the process of dealing with it.
Yeah,
the ostrich chariot for the Pulcinellas, which is going to be hilarious.
I love that.
I've already seen a concept sculpt of it, like the 3D generated image they can do on computers, and it looks hilarious.
I've only seen what they did on the advent calendar, and that in itself looked fun.
I mean, you know full well that it's just gonna, because anyone who plays the guild, or in fact anybody who's ever played my dad in a game of Carnival, knows that my dad absolutely loves Pulcinellas, absolutely adores them. Because it's like, okay, so Pulcinellas, the base level ones aren't that good, but it doesn't matter because I've got 6 of them.
Yeah, it's just pure quantity that makes their quality.
Well, yeah, because
quantity is a quantity of
quantity
is a quality of itself.
But what's great about them as well is they get that reroll for the end of days. So the more of them that you've got, the more rerolls you've got.
Have you said what the patrician big thing is?
I've heard rumors. I don't know how much they hold. I know full well that the gifted aren't getting a big thing because they're not really. They're never really considered a faction of their own.
Yeah, they're like a mercenary group more than anything else.
Like they said, if it was to happen, it would be like the last thing that they would do, unless something like really, really, really funny came out. But again, they never specify. I think they were very adamant that they weren't going to get anything like that because it would sort of defeats the point of what the gifted are.
Making I was like thinking, what would be cool for the patricians to have? Some kind of crazy Da Vinci flying machine or something.
I mean, to throw out some disgusting speculation, I think the patricians, it would be really cool if they had some sort of like hedonistic sort of platform that they were carrying, like a load of them were carrying. I think would be quite funny and would fit very nicely into their whole lifestyle. Almost like some like party platform that's being carried by like servants or slaves or something.
I was thinking like with them having the city guard and stuff like that under the payroll, having some sort of like some Da Vinci designed either flying machine or like the tank or whatever it was he had created.
I mean, I'll tell you what would also work as well if
cool.
you think about it, because you know how they get the Ottomans. It wouldn't be too surprising if they had like some elephant, like an elephant.
Yeah.
I think that could work. The only thing I can really think of for the Vatican,
they've got the Egyptians as well for one of the. Well, really, they could have something from anywhere because any foreign noble.
The only thing I could really think of for the Vatican, disgusting speculation. It would just be like some sort of stone construct, like a really big Golgotha. You know, or some magical construct. I mean, there isn't really anything else for me that would scream out Vatican, because it's either. I mean, I suppose you can have some sort of like big holy thing, like some, you know, like.
But then in the lore, isn't it the Golgotha is that thing? Like they've got the massive shining angels in the thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like this hideous monstrosity just because it's like the taint of Venice twist in it.
I mean, that'd be interesting to see where they go with the Vatican. Or you have some sort of accurate depiction of like an angel when it's got all those weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all the eyes everywhere on
Mm.
the ball and the crazy wings.
Who knows? But I say that's only disgusting speculation at present. Other than that, I think you said was there's a new line of paints, isn't there, that TT Combat are bringing out?
Yes, this has been a very TT Combat heavy episode for a podcast that primarily focuses on things from TT Combat. The paint, they've got a couple of new paint sets, it looks like, coming out. Candy coats, washes, and metallics. I've got a couple of the metallics, which I really like. Got like different levels of shiny, the silver, and an opulent white, which I don't know if that would count as a metallic or maybe as a candy, or it's like a sort of like a not quite glittery white, but it's got that little kind of sheen to it.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. And of the washes, the brown wash, the umber wash, that's a really nice wash. So, and I'll need to pick up a couple of their other ones just to kind of really get through that. I think like a flesh wash would be a nice one to try out because I use that on my gold.
Where is it?
So once they announce, like once they show all the paint sets that are coming out tomorrow, I'll have a look, see what's in there, and I might just have to pick some of them up.
Yeah, I mean, they again, I know this has felt like a very TT Combat praising episode, but we're genuinely not paid to say any of this. I mean, yes, I do volunteer my time at the events for TT Combat. They are a great bunch of people. They're really passionate about what they do. And I know that they're super, super passionate about the quality of their paints.
Best yellow in the business.
Yeah, and that's not so. And anyone who's listening to this has a paint and knows that means something.
That if someone says it's a good yellow, it's got coverage, you know it's good.
But we do like other games. I just think it's just primarily we were both really excited about Half Tilt. We're both, we both think a lot of the games that we do enjoy do happen to be made by TT Combat. This is more of a disclaimer, I suppose, more than anything. We're not, these opinions are our own. They're not ones that are reflected by them. But yeah, there are other games that we do enjoy. It sort of ended up being a bit very TT Combat heavy. But other than that, there isn't and sadly there isn't really much else happening in the games that we're interested in, or things that that me and Chris play. There's not really anything that's sort of come out as of late.
Particularly for me, it's Rumble Slam. That's my big interest of it, and it's been Half Tilt. I'm still waiting on the Metal Gear Solid board game getting shipped.
Saying that, I'm waiting for something coming from the States called Dungeon Card. Remember I telling you about that? So I'm still waiting for that to be shipped. I think they're only just started shipping, and it's coming from the States. It's that Mario Kart-esque board game I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm going to check the update actually quickly while I was talking about it, because I was really looking forward to that, because I think that's going to be something my son will be into. There's shipping update. There you go. Shipping is just around the corner, and that was 16th of June. So, where is it?
Nice.
The game. So this was the 16th of June. EU, UK, the games are still making their way across the water to their fulfillment partner in the UK. So I can't be too far away from that.
Cool Minis or not, they've been like quiet all the way through this Metal Gear Solid one on Backer Kit. But I mean, I don't use their forum, so there's probably information on there. But I would expect there would have been messaged on Backer Kit. But so occasionally I'll have a quick scan through the internet to see what's getting said about it, because I just want my Metal Gear Solid game. But
that's the risk you always do run though with Kickstarter. It is a gamble a lot of the time at best.
But I mean, the Simon, they're a pretty respected group, so I've got faith in them. And when you're working with a game that's someone else's IP, there's always, everything needs to be signed off. Any card art, any model art, everything needs signed off. So there's always a delay with stuff like that. But another like frequent face in our rogues gallery of excellent game makers, Blacksite Studios has Violent Dark in the back room for the relaunch. It's a smaller relaunch than what Don't Look Back got, which was like a brand new range refresh, brand new rulebook, brand new models, all that stuff. This one is, I think it's the same models that it originally launched with. It's basically like another chance to pick the game up. Brand new rule book, pre-order cover art or an alternate art you can get on it. There's the rule cards you can get from all the releases they did originally. So there's stuff that I didn't get the first time round.
So is this still for Don't Look Back or?
No, sorry, this is Violent Dark. Okay. There was character cards and stuff for expansions that I didn't pick up, but they're included in this new one, in like the physical set. So I'll be getting them, and I'll be able to use my aliens inspired models.
Oh yeah, I remember this game.
You've got like things that are essentially face huggers, but not. But it's like the way that they breed into people. So I'd use face hugger models for that. Xenomorph models for the creatures. So there's ordered a bunch of stuff for that, and like I say, that's in the back room section of the Blackside Studios stuff. Nice. So just kind of like you can track how the stuff's going with that, and I'm looking forward to getting the rule book for that. If it's half as good as the Don't Look Back rule book, it's going to be a fantastic looking rule book.
Yeah, I do need to get hold of that new updated rule book, but it is £60. It's.
I was thinking of holding off on the Violent Dark one and seeing if Spectre Miniatures, see if they get it. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take the plunge, and it's going to be a small order for it anyway.
I mean,
the rule book and a couple of physical bits. So.
Some of these, do you know what? I've just been looking through it now, and one of the expansions I really, really want now, and it's the Sweet Tooth one. It's like a zombie gingerbread man. Like I really want that.
Oh, for Don't Look Back. Yeah. That was the one of the Christmas ones.
Do you know what? Oh. I wish that they would have somewhere over here that would just have it. Because it's so
Spectre Miniatures. They've not got a big range of the models. It's more the rule book side of stuff they've got at the moment.
Yeah, I mean that's the shame. Sometimes it's like games like that which are so cool. It's just getting them over here. Well, to be fair, I might be able to start getting stuff at a cheaper rate now because one of my friends has recently moved to Texas. Nice. So I might be able to get cheaper shipping, but we'll.
So he's just living across the road from Blackside Studios. They're Texas based.
He might well be. Yeah, definitely. Either that or I've got to get into 3D printing.
Mhm.
But either way, those new miniatures that they brought out for Don't Look Back are just absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
You know, and the resculpts of the core heroes, fantastic.
Yeah,
And to be fair, the old ones weren't bad.
yeah, they were fine. It's, if anything, the new sculpts are definitely worth picking up, because as they've got better with the sculpting and stuff, especially with like the female faces,
Mm.
the female characters, the features are a lot slighter on them, and they
There's
look
also
very, like, a lot
two new
nicer.
characters in there.
Yes, there's like a punk lass and the lad in the
Fellow in a wheelchair.
wheelchair,
Yeah.
and he is tied into one of the missions, one of the like the stories in it, where there's a well that's got like a weird ghost in it, and his backstory is tied into that.
I mean, what I love as well, and I think we're going to close out with this. The thing I love the most about Black Search Studios with Don't Look Back is how everything's like in a VHS box.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because then I could like when it's because when you display it and I can have it on my like cupboard, everything I could just have it all in a VHS box. People are like, why have you got videotapes? I'm like, no. And it
See,
is, yeah,
what I liked with the first run of Violent Dark, I'm not sure how the packaging this the next wave might be in blisters, but that
mm,
first wave of them, it was like not quite Ziploc bags. It was like a harder plastic, but black bags that had like labels on it from
yeah,
like in universe companies and stuff, and it was like kind of put you in the mind of like freeze dried food they would have on like on a spaceship. So like, yeah, as you're
definitely.
opening them up, getting the molds out and stuff, it's just they've they've got that kind of like tactile packaging like gimmick down perfectly.
I mean, Hametsu kind of fell flat though with that, but you know, there's not really what you can do with that.
Mm.
Such as life. But otherwise, yeah, they are. It's a shame that they don't have a big trader over here that you
Mm.
know that they deal with regularly. Because honestly, they if you haven't picked up any of their games or seen any of their games, do give them a watch. They look like great fun, and it does tie back into our whole solo gaming thing.
Mm.
But yeah,
Is there
well,
any new and shiny for you?
no, well, pretty much what was what you were saying. I was along the same lines anyway. Other than well, yeah, that was it. Like there wasn't really much I'd noticed for myself. I've been sort of quite tied up with half tilt and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, life. I've not really been on the socials to be fair, looking to
Yeah.
find stuff out. The only stuff I knew was certain levels of information from other Carnival stuff. But thanks for joining us on the Tippy Cast, and if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow us.
And if you listen to us on YouTube, why not drop us a like and subscribe? And weigh in with your thoughts on what we've mentioned, missed, or something for us to look at for the next episode in the comments below.
And it's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from me.